Alright, so I'm going to show my take on how to deal with the issue of daubers and wasps and that sort of stuff getting inside the vents on my RV. What I've done is taken some aluminum screening material. I don't know if you can see it real well in there, but behind the existing vents I've tucked in some aluminum screening material to keep out wasps. And rather than drilling and that sort of stuff, this one was probably the simplest. What I've done is simply folded it, doubled it over at the edges so that it's a little thicker, and then on two of the sides I've used this metal tape that is used for ductworks. So it's good for standing up to heat, because it certainly has to deal with heat on ducting, and it does a nice job of securing this in there. And you can see that's just standard aluminum door screening. So that's how I've dealt with it on the vent for my hot water unit. And then come over here on this exhaust port on the outside. Here what I've done is, and again it may be tough to see, but right in there you can see I've used the same aluminum screening, so it should be good relative to any heat. And I simply have removed this plate, cleaned off. I've got to do a little cleanup work there, but I've cleaned off the putty that was in around the edge here that formed a gasket to seal it, and I've laid in a screen of that aluminum screening material, or a little panel of that. And then on the on this port here, what I've done is I've cut out a piece of screening material about a ½ inch bigger all around than this 1½ inch opening, and then I kind of formed it and force fitted in there, and with the additional material on the sides it created a little flange. And then I again used some of that metallized tape for ductwork on here, and it's super adhesive, it's good for heat, and it's going to hold up well. So again, no insects can get in that way. And then lastly, right up here on this vent for the fridge, and this will be tough to see I think, but right up in there, actually you can see it pretty well I think. I've done exactly the same thing. I've laid in some screening material, and I've done it for all three of the vents. And I'll show you what I did on the inside. It's not necessarily the prettiest, but I think it's going to hold up well. This metallized tape is very durable and very sticky, very tacky. So what I've done is for each of those vents, I cut a piece of mesh, that aluminum screening mesh, for each of these vents, and I've adhered it, wrapped it right around the top, and I've adhered it with that tape. And again, right up to the edges, that's going to keep any creepy crawlies, any wasps, mud daubers, that sort of stuff. That'll keep out those critters. And the beauty of this is it's very flexible. This material is very flexible. You can't be like a gorilla with it. You can't be super abusive with it as you're working with it. But with some just common care, treating it with a little respect, you can put that on very quickly, very easily, mold it to the shape you need, and then again with this metallized tape, you get a nice fit and nice adhesion, and that's it. And I'm sure there are plenty of ways to do this, as evidenced by the video that inspired me to do this work, and I'll mention that in a link down below if I can. But the beauty of this is, if I were to buy the aftermarket screens for these vents, this exhaust port, and the vent behind my water heater, I would probably be in the neighborhood of $30 to $35, or $25 to $35 certainly, for those 3 vents. And instead I was able to do that for $7 in screening material, and I happen to have a roll of the metallized tape, but that can be picked up in a small roll. It's at a place like a Home Depot or a Lowe's for just a few bucks. So even if you call that $5 or $6 for that roll, the whole job cost me maybe $12 or $13, as opposed to double or even triple that. So thanks for watching. Hope this inspires you to do something similar, or maybe come up with your own version. But that's half the fun, I guess, of owning an RV, is being able to come up with ways to deal with problems. So have fun and good RVing.